What up, guys? Welcome to the podcast. Your boy, the Sauce Boss, the Donny dripping, the Pharaoh Flavor, the Minister of Mixture, joined right here with Big Lynch.
Yo, what up?
Yeah, and Donnie Duckets.
Good morning, gentlemen.
International man of mischief.
The Shadow Man.
Oh, that's suspect, eh? That I said you're a man of mischief.
Yeah,
I've mischiefed in the past.
I want to ask you something. I was going through the news this week, and there's just a lot of thievery, a lot of bullshit going on out there. And I came across this hilarious, I guess not hilarious, but hilarious in a way, story about Milky Way burglars. So they weren't stealing Milky Ways. They did steal Milky Ways, but it happened to be that they got caught because they left a trail of candy wrappers.
They stole the Milky Ways also, but that's not what we're concerned with.
No, they got caught because they were eating Milky Ways on the way home from the robbery. And that, to me, is the most, stoned decision.
They robbed the house, and
Correct.
while they took whatever it was they robbed, they also happened to take Milky Ways, and then
Correct.
they ate Milky Ways all the way home, dropping the wrappers the entire time.
And the police solved it sounds like a cartoon. The police solved the crime by tracking the Milky Ways back to the person's house and busted this whole crime ring.
Yeah,
I don't know if I call it a crime ring, but it seems like...
seven people. I feel like that's a crime ring. 7 people were arrested. A string of burglaries by 7 people. Like, that's a crime ring. And they had taken a gun, food, and a bag of miniature Milky Way bars.
So
This
Way...
all happened within walking distance of the suspects' homes. Isn't that funny, Donnie?
So
Isn't that funny, this entire thing?
The whole thing's funny. I think, dropping the wrappers that could happen to any of us. I could just see myself on the front page of this fucking story. But,
would you ever rob a house? Would
I rob a house?
Yeah.
No.
For candy?
What the hell, Donnie? Your identity is a secret. Why can't we talk about it?
You know what was crazy? I used to work at a grocery store. And this was back long enough ago that there were no cameras. So it was a grocery store with no cameras. And I used to work in the back, and I would go to work from rugby practice with a duffel bag and just load it up with beer and drank so much free beer for a couple of years while I had that job.
That's sick.
I feel like you and all your friends had kind of the hookup. Remember, your other buddy worked at the corner store, and you'd always get little magazines here and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would go into 7-Eleven and go to the official Xbox magazine, and I would slip out the disc, the demo disc inside, because it had the demo for Ninja Gaiden was a demo I played for 8 hours.
Yeah.
The demo for The Suffering, Donnie, you remember how lit on that we were?
I was sold on that. I bought The Suffering when it came out. I think I was
the demo
one of the only
disc.
ones in the crew. Yeah.
It worked,
really got
that demo
to me.
disc.
Yeah. That was such a hype game.
Yep. It was just so cinematic at the time. When you rewatch it now, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You really, I watched it months ago and I was like, oh my God, this is not at all what I remember.
Yeah.
You look back on old games.
It's like if Rob Zombie made BioShock,
BioShock. Oh my God.
BioShock was sick.
Yeah, that was sick.
BioShock is S tier. But I was into that, The Suffering and Manhunt, and I liked the savagery in those games.
You liked killing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you still play video games, Donnie, or are you off it these days?
You know what my problem is? I don't do anything a little bit.
Yeah, I feel
and so I can't really get into video games because I don't have the strength. I see what happens to myself when I'm into video games, and it's straight up, I wake up, I hop on, I'm smoking weed and playing, and I'll play for, no joke, 6 hours. And then my girlfriend will be like, hey, you wanna do something? And I'll hear my stupid voice go, I just started playing, because in my head it's like I'm just getting going, I'm just hitting a stride, I can't play fucking video games. I'm too much of a crackhead to play video games.
Yeah, I had to accept my video game fate, and I moved to just strictly a Switch. A Switch felt like the right amount of video game for me personally. I could no longer commit to the multi-system. I know I used to be, Harley's still rocking every single system, 5 TVs. We've covered his blue light sleeping situation. He needs video games in his life.
I like to party. Yeah.
You like to party. That's right. Yeah. And you stream. So fair play, but I feel like the switch to the
switch to the Switch.
The switch to the Switch was the right call.
A big Switch.
It is a phenomenal system, the Switch. I also think that the Xbox Series S, a lot of people were waiting for a PS5 to come out. And it still takes a long time for the PS5 to be available. I think if you've been a PS person your whole life and you're waiting for a PS5, I think buying the Xbox Series S, which is like the cheaper Xbox option and still offers a little bit of 4K gaming. That one with Xbox Game Pass, which is like a monthly subscription like Netflix, you get that. You could play through all the classic Xbox games, even if you've hated on them forever. You can now go and play the Halo Master Chief Collection, Halo 5, all of these are on. You could play Gears of War, the new Gears of War. You could play Forza. You could play all these games that were always on Xbox.
I want to know.
You missed out on them.
I want to know.
Yeah.
Can you play Knights of the Old Republic?
Yes.
There you have it, people. Go get it.
Yeah.
Go get it. I think
you play part 2 also.
I think you just sold me on it, to tell you the truth.
I'm not going to hype up the newest Halo like it's the sickest game, but like each of you like to play single player games. You both would enjoy playing Halo Infinite for sure. 100%. Yeah. And that's not crazy. That's what you need. Gamers like you need to be able to sit down, play a game that doesn't have like an insane inventory management where you come back 2 months later and you're like, what's all this shit I'm holding?
Yeah,
where am I walking? You want to just play the game where you play it through and you're like, wow, that was a great 15 hours. Thank you. But like the games that come out now,
it was like
the newest Assassin's Creed, I like it. I loved it. The Viking one. I played it for 125 hours.
No.
Like I did like mostly everything, but I'm out there and I'm doing all this and I'm like at hour 50 I was like, okay, at hour 80 I'm like, what is going on here? And at hour 100 I'm like, this is only happening because I could stream this. Because I'm sitting here gaming with like people building parasocial relationships. But solo, you guys, that's not for you. But like a Halo Infinite, you can get with that. A new Gears, you can get with that. People might not like new Gears compared to like Fortnite and all that bullshit, but you guys, you're like the boomer gamers.
Yeah.
So you could dabble with those, have a great time, beat a campaign. That's it.
We're boomer zoomers.
Yeah, Donnie's right. I can't do he says he has to complete stuff where he gets wrapped up in it. Like if I start playing a game, I feel like I got 100% it in my brain. Like I got to get through all of it.
What I meant by getting wrapped up is like, I don't track the time. So I'm straight up doing 6, 7, 8 hours. And then like someone calls me and is like, hey, let's do something. And I'm like, I'm playing. Like I can't stop. Fucking wow. Halo. I put so much time into Halo.
But that was different. We did it all together.
Yeah.
We were like seven of our closest like real life friends. We would chill, meet up, blaze, freestyle, and then like go home and turn on our Xboxes and join into a party chat and be like, yo, what up? Yo, what up?
That only happened when I came around you guys.
I have a fucking tube TV at my house, and my girlfriend is always like, like a fucking TV, like not a flat
CRT
screen. Yeah, like a CRT TV. But it's like this TV I've put in hours of like, it's not just like, oh, I've watched movies on this, or I was like, this is where me and the boys fucking, these were formative years. Like Halo 2 was
Zanzibar. We were on Zanzibar here.
Bro, it was like
No, Lynch got caught up. Lynch came to Dollar.
Yeah,
Like
Lynch
he got an Xbox, a PS3. Like he was doing it up.
Yeah. That
This guy
wasn't
was
my life until I
fucking-
moved to Montreal.
This guy ate up Little Big Planet
Ooh.
too.
Oh,
Like
my
that's
God.
100%. This guy collected 100%.
That's
We
100%.
actually used to
Planet.
get fucked up on your
I
couch,
love that
Lynch,
game.
and play Little Big Planet. I
That
remember
game
playing
was
that
the
at your
best.
place.
That's the kind of game I get addicted to. That's right there, perfect for me. I want to bring it back to this meat crime ring because we were talking about the Milky Way burglars.
Okay, Milky
There's
Way.
another
So
crime
Milky
ring.
Ways suck.
But this one's
Snickers
actually
are
way
better.
more serious. Okay.
Yeah, we're
The
dealing
U.S.
with meat
Department of
now.
Homeland Security reported approximately 45 thefts that occurred across the 6 Midwest states, totaling $9 million in loss. Some guys, some crew, like these guys thought they were in heat, but they were stealing meat.
This sounds a lot like a Goodfellas kind
Right?
of heist. Like this is straight out of a Goodfellas, like a semi-trailer full of meat that they're gonna have to sell off in like a quasi-legitimate market
okay.
because no one's like going on the corner to buy meat, right? So they're gonna want to unload this to restaurants and to people that they have connections with, and I don't know. Like, look, obviously this is a crime and it's a fucking bad thing, and people probably got hurt along the way. But like, I don't know, man. This heist kind of gives me the warm and fuzzies. Like this is like some Goodfellas shit, man.
Well, I was trying to figure out what it says. We haven't nailed down the exact details on where all the meat stolen ended up yet. And I'm like, what?
No,
was
but
like,
I
You're
agree.
not
is
going
this?
to, man. It's in spaghetti sauce already.
I was
Like they're showing up at the sauce boss's house and we're buying meat off the truck. Like, what's going on?
I was gonna say I
here?
agree with Donnie over here. Like they earned it. They got it figured out. They like you got to move. If you have $9 million in meat, you got to move that fast. You're not really storing that and in one particular place. You got to know where it's going. And this shit probably got handed off within days, within a week.
Yeah, because keeping
They
it
made
frozen,
moves.
is going to blow your profit margin.
This is actually the plot to the
And it
Epic
gets
Mealtime
eaten.
action movie where we go and we start robbing, like we're robbing trucks, we're robbing meat trucks.
Yeah, it's
And,
like Fast and the Furious.
We're getting caught up.
Fast and the Furious, but I'm like jumping onto like one of those trucks with like pigs in the back, and I'm like hooking it up to like a helicopter and like riding the rope.
and then
up
you like
the
you
chopper.
parachute away and no, but actually imagine like an epic meal heist, epic meal heist meal. I'm just
I
gonna
like
say
this
meal
video.
a lot, but it's better than saying like a lot, right, Mr. Negative? We should do that. We should fucking dress up like dead presidents, paint our faces, dress all in black, and like rob a meat truck and
Like,
make
well,
an
I can
epic.
see- I
They
can
can
see-
now.
No,
we
and
can.
listen, and
No,
then
no,
we get,
we'll go
and
with
then
Rob.
we get we take the driver hostage, and we get a negotiator on the phone, and
You suck his dick.
No, we negotiate for like the cooking implements. We negotiate for the ingredients and the cooking implements we need to make the meal while the hostage situation's going down. So we get like we want a fucking deep fryer. We want like Harley Mornstein's patented giant spoon. We want like all the fucking.
We want our dick sucked.
Yeah.
People wouldn't be surprised if the headline came out online. It's like, Harley Mornstein, the sauce boss from Epic
You
Mealtime,
guys got to stop doxing with my full government like that, buddy.
is robbing.
Is that your govy?
Like I like being like it's obvious, you know, but like when you say it all loud like that in the podcast, just sounds like you're
sounds
just
fun.
doxing a Jew right now.
Yeah, it's the
Okay, the
you're
sauce
just
boss
increasing
from
the
Epic
deep
Mealtime.
fake library.
The sauce boss from Epic Mealtime gets caught robbing a string of M&M meat shops across the country. People are like, oh, that makes sense. I don't know how they were affording all this meat for their content, but I totally understand why the bacon guy is robbing meat shops across the country.
I always thought that if I died like choking on food or something, people would be like, yeah. Like I was like
That's the beginning. That's actually the beginning of the film. Is you in jail? That's the headline. That you're in jail, and that's how it starts. And then you get to the top
what am I in jail for?
for robbing M&M meat shops with assault rifles.
Why are you calling out Eminem like that? Like,
Yeah,
Oh, sure, whatever,
anyone's
okay.
gonna understand Eminem.
I pitched quite a few Epic Mealtime movies in my day.
Yeah,
Nice. This is what I want to talk about.
A number of scripts,
sure.
you know.
Yeah, this is the best one, right?
And I think what's really interesting is one of the scripts that was the best Epic Mealtime script that was submitted is actually written by the person who writes She-Hulk. I was watching
really?
She-Hulk and it was like written by, and I was like, oh, damn. I'm like, that girl literally took a crack at the Epic Mealtime movie, and it was really impressive. We didn't get the money together, which I was going to say I want to stop talking about Epic Mealtime movie ideas because it's going to make me bitter. Okay, and I don't want to be bitter right now. And she also wrote Annoying Orange, the episode that I was on. I was on 2 episodes of Annoying Orange. And that's my career, so it's Annoying Orange appearances. But apparently no one wants to give me money for the movie. So there is no Fast and the Furious pig truck hijacking scene that's going to happen.
Why? We should
It's
do
not
that next
gonna.
week.
It's not gonna happen unless we get a Patreon for this and have thousands of listeners. Thousands.
I'll let Donnie hit us with the with his ideas. I got another.
Well,
pitch
I don't
also.
know. Like, you actually just inspired me. This isn't like some well thought out thing. You just inspired me when you said
no,
the
sure,
movie
let's hear
starts.
it.
The movie starts with Harley in prison,
Yeah.
and then I'm thinking like, okay, here's the fucking movie. It's The Longest Yard, but instead
okay.
of football, it's cooking.
Oh.
And Harley's in prison, and he's leading the prisoner squad, and he's gonna lead the kitchen staff in a cook-off against the guards for like the big fucking mayor's
like it.
visit
You know why?
or something.
You know why that's a good idea?
This
You know why
is
that's a
like-
good concept?
we
That's
can't
a
even
good concept.
release this episode anymore. This is fucking
No,
my
you
IP.
can't. It's fine. It's fine.
This
But
is
the
my
reason why
idea.
that's
We said
a
it,
good
now it's
concept.
ours. Yeah.
The reason why that's a good concept is that's like easy to shoot. It's one spot. All you have are male adult actors in one spot that can be dressed to look somewhat like a prison or like a rec room in a prison or like a,
like the
like a
wardrobe
common
is cheap.
space.
It's all jumpsuits
It's
and
one
cop suits.
jumpsuit. It's
Yeah.
super easy. Cop suits are cheap and very available. And it's literally, we're talking about like, 6 primary actors with like, maybe like 12 extras, side people. That's a big one. Throw
Are you
that
doing
together.
So this kind of like The Bear in prison,
Yeah, I know. It's like that cooking show in prison.
like that show that just came out.
Not
The Bear
cooking,
in
not
prison.
cooking.
Yeah,
show.
like Longest Yard.
It's Longest Yard, and the thing is like the kitchen staff sucks, and the fucking guards are like, we can cook better than these guys, and we were like, oh yeah, how about we make the meal for the banquet or whatever the fuck's happening at the end of the year. The mayor's coming to this prison, and it's gonna be like a cook-off, and the guards are gonna try to fuck you guys over. They're gonna they're gonna turn your gas off.
We want to
They're
raise. Listen,
they're gonna
I'm
switch
here-
your salt for sugar.
I'm talking money though. We need money for the movie. You want money, more money. So we're not
Well,
going
look,
there
I
with
just
Longest
want
Yard.
money
No,
for my
hold up.
script.
We're
I
not
just want
going in
money
for.
for my idea, and then you could make it on your dime.
Okay, that's not how this works, buddy. That's not how this works. We want money, so we're not coming with Longest Yard. This is Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
That's what we're coming with. We're going over the top serious with this shit. There's a story to be told, an emotional story. And regardless, at the end, I still go to Say What to Neo. A tiny island off the Pacific.
So you're
That's
getting
where
fucked
I'm
by
going.
dudes in prison?
No. I do, instead of threatening to bite the dick, I actually bite the dick.
Okay. Oh,
And
so
like
you
I
make
bite
happen.
it, and I'm the sauce boss, and I'm getting punched in the head. But I'm the sauce boss, like I'm the fucking Glizzy Gladiator. So I'm like, taking
Okay.
punches.
and the dick's
Taking
flopping
punches.
around like a trout.
It's in my mouth. I bit
Yeah.
it, but it's not biting off like I thought as easily as it would have. Like I haven't ripped it off. It's like I'm still on it, and I'm in
it's
it.
tough. It's
That's
tough.
pretty
Yeah.
primal, actually, if you think about it.
Actually, very primal, very primal.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know how we got here,
You should
but
cut this entire part of me biting the dick like that. And if it's still in the podcast, like that's part of the joke too.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but cut it though. Okay.
So you like this better than my epic mealtime horror film? Then
No one said that. We're doing both of them.
we're doing both.
Yeah, we come out with 2 epic mealtime movies that compete with each other.
I like that because the horror film, all I want is to deep fry someone. I feel like
Yeah.
that's a good kill. That's a good kill. Someone gets deep fried. Like, how else would you kill people? Because it's like that's also easy. We're in one location, right? Okay. people are showing up dead, right?
Well, already
I don't mind. I'll die first. I'll die
It's a much more expensive movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but
just the amount of peanut oil you're going to need to deep fry a
That's
6'1", 250-pound person. And also, like, do you batter them first?
Of course.
Okay, so what are we talking like cornmeal? What are we talking here?
You don't actually have to deep fry someone for this to work in the movie.
Oh no, sous vide. How about we sous vide someone?
That's a different death that I thought of right away. A sous vide is a different death. Yeah. Yeah, and then I thought about the prop.
That's like that. Yeah, the prop is very like Freddy Krueger waterbed scene.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, what else could you do? I guess you could barbecue someone. You can.
What are we talking about? The ways we're gonna kill people on this?
Yeah, what do you mean? It's just a mirror. It's a mirror, like literally with his bare hands and various.
So Amir's gonna make a custom pen and fucking brag about it the whole episode.
Let's move this along to this video I saw today of a Starbucks employee having an absolute fucking meltdown. And they're crying about basically Starbucks being completely understaffed and it's just nonstop people coming in all day. Did you guys see this video? You checked it out?
I saw it.
You didn't check it out, Donnie?
I
say a kid, but like I guess this person maybe could be 20. I have no idea who the person is, but this person who tweeted
it today, or
they're just getting dunked on it's like they're getting dunked on in Twitter. This video's gone pretty like viral. It seems, it's got 3 million views. Looking right here, it's someone at Starbucks in their Starbucks outfit, talking about this working 8 hours, and the actual like written part of the tweet's pretty. It's like trans barrister is meltdown because 8 hours is too long to work on a day. ... That person knew what they were doing with that for sure. And just like people are dunking all over this person, like showing themselves, at a hospital or welding something or at their third job. I don't know if you have a perspective on this, but I have to say I often walk into somewhere as someone who gets to sit here and we're just talking shit on a microphone and we make videos for the internet. And while that can be stressful and difficult at times, sometimes I walk into, like when I go pick up one of my pizzas, one of my decadent pizzas.
Rosé pizzas.
My rosé pizza.
Covered in
salad. I walk in there and the amount of shit going down in this one little small area, the amount of, like, it's just nonstop. It's just nonstop. There's people in line. There's nothing more stressful to me than to be in a location and there's just a constant lineup. Like, that's got to fuck with your head. I would drive me crazy. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. If you were serving people and it's just lineups, like all the time, never any lineup, constantly. Do you think you'd be making Twitter videos about it or what?
Look,
no.
It's,
no?
No.
You like a good line? You enjoy a lineup?
It's like, well, it's funny, like the tweet itself just being like trans barrister as meltdown, but I was like, it doesn't even, never is relevant to the video that if they're trans or not. It's just funny. But like working that type of job has always been difficult. It's been so difficult. It's always been a thing that has existed as a difficult job. And you kind of had these jobs when you're younger, like shit rolls downhill, and you had those harder jobs when you were younger. You did that. And I can't speak for this person's life, but I have noticed that the 24-hour McDonald's around my house, none of them are open 24 hours anymore. And these people that don't want to do those jobs, they don't work those jobs, and there's less and less of those people. Yeah, working at Starbucks is the craziest place to go work. There's a lot of places you could work that are also, a service industry place, a food place, whatever. You could be working at a drive-thru at a different spot. And you know what? You would be having way less people come in. Like, I would just not go to Starbucks. And I know it's such a crazy thing to be like, get a different job. But there are other fast food places. If you live in a place where there's a Starbucks, you probably you could be in the US somewhere where there's different burger joints at every corner. And I know it's not as cool to work at a burger joint as it is to Starbucks, perhaps to this person. But I know full well that I would choose a place where I get a bit more chill And a Starbucks is the least chillest place. Have you guys walked into a Starbucks recently or seen it? Starbucks are insane. It's an insane place. I can't believe how many people go into fucking Starbucks and are constantly ordering, and every Starbucks is insane. And when you get there, there's literally always 40 Uber pickup drinks also. And there's like 7 employees that have to do so much. There's 7 of them, and they're fucking hustling. Every time I see it happen, you know, like usually like
it's like I like those videos where people show their orders, because Starbucks particularly gets also dunked on, or like every once in a while someone's order will go viral, someone will show what they got to put together, and it's like it's everything I hate about going somewhere when someone's like when someone has like 20, basically going for lunch with like any of our family members essentially, but when someone has like 20 substitutes for one order, and Starbucks is the most of that. It's the most.
That's why you go there, though.
Yeah.
That's why you go there.
The menu's a mere suggestion.
Yeah, it's like people have the most ludicrous.
Look,
orders.
I could kind of go in pretty hard on this.
Oh.
I'm
shy.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's just that
here.
like, look, the problem with a lot of these types of jobs is that, you know, the people that work them are underpaid, and people like to have certain opinions on that. Like a more conservative opinion is kind of like, oh, you know, if you pay these people this big wage that everyone wants, then a hamburger will be $1 million. You want a hamburger to be $1 million because you want to pay everyone this wage? But I'll tell you what, we are getting fucked. When these people don't get paid well, we all get fucked. Because what happens is these corporations make a lot of money. Starbucks, McDonald's, they make a lot of money. And they pay people not a lot of money to work for them. And that doesn't just mean like, oh, okay, these people don't get a lot of money and that's how they exist. It's like, no, now they need help because they're not getting paid a living wage. And where do they get that help from? The government. And where does the government get their money from? Us. So what happens is McDonald's decides to pay someone not enough money to live. So then they have to turn to the government for I mean, to use a broad term, welfare, let's say, and or assistance or whatever you want to call it. And we're the ones that have to subsidize people who aren't getting paid enough, while large corporations like Starbucks and McDonald's pocket trillions of dollars. And it's a total fucking scam. And not only that, but we give these large companies tax breaks to operate because we think it's, quote, good for our economy, but it's really just good for them.
And everything you're saying, like when I was making the point about the McDonald's not being open 24 hours anymore, is like because you just have to not work there. Like there's a message currently being sent out right now that I know is being felt by a lot of these corporations. People these days are, you know, like they're not exactly like us, and maybe the circumstances are different also, you know, in regards to our parents, people our parents' age, that are very different from this. Because when I look at the replies to this video, there's a woman here, and she's like, I can still run circles around this generation. I'm 66 and unstoppable. Stop your crying face and get a life. My mentality is I kind of resonate a bit more with the person who's crying, although I wouldn't sit there and cry on social media. I think a lot of people, like, they share this stuff on social media. What do you want me to do? What do you want us to do? Starbucks?
Yeah.
Leave there. That's why places like McDonald's these days are giving out CVs, like application forms to work for McDonald's on the placemat that you get at McDonald's. They're very desperate. They need workers. All the McDonald's that are 24 hours around me, they're literally not open 24 hours because people are like, fuck that. I'm not working from midnight to 6 a.m. at a McDonald's for this amount of money. So it's a slow process, but walking away from that is something you can do, and I would probably do that.
I don't know. It's definitely a weird time. I think that in this person's particular case, First of all, the replies are really crazy. Like they're just getting dunked on by boomers, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's
there's this
funny
many-
because people are they
look,
want to defend Starbucks. Like, what do you like? Why defend Starbucks? Why?
Yes,
It's so funny.
why defend Starbucks? But also, like, let me just temper what I just said. Like, the kids also needs to put it in perspective. It's like, and it kind of in the vein that Harley's talking about. It's like, you're there, you have the job. This is the job. So if you're gonna be there, then do it. And if it's that unbearable for you, then yeah, you probably shouldn't do it. But put it in perspective, kid. You're working a shit job. You're getting paid the wage you agreed to get paid. And it's not exactly fair or fun, but it's not that bad. Like, people are suffering real shit, and you're suffering like a double shift at Starbucks. It's not the worst thing that's ever going to happen to you. But yeah, I agreed. Like, you're underpaid and this job sucks. So like Harley said, like, fuck off. But
There's
if you're
also
going to
an
be there,
element-
then do it.
I have such a like for something like this, like what you're saying, where it's like you do have a job, and like I get it, there could be so much wrong with it, but like you have a job, and you're coming and you're crying on social media. There's like read the room. I feel like there's a lot more going on that might be a bit more drastic than what you're going through. And I'm not gonna be like, you little idiot, I'm 66 and still getting my dick sucked, you know. But at the same time.
I mean,
But
I
it
guess
also
social
makes
media
sense.
kind of ruins that because everyone's the main character now in social media. 'Cause
People
I think
go
back to
off on social media. Like, people go off. Like, I'm honestly, Elon Musk bought Twitter to be a bigger deal on Twitter.
I do have a recommendation, but it's kind of half baked, so I haven't actually gone through it. But I just picked up a new book, so it's Heat 2, which
What?
I'm pretty
Sequel
excited
to the
about.
movie.
With
Yeah.
Val Kilmer?
Michael Mann wrote it with someone
You
else.
think you do that? You're just gonna buy a book, start it, and you want people to join along with
Yeah,
you?
I
You're
do.
not even
I
waiting
do,
for it to
I
be
do,
done.
yeah.
You're like, you know what? Feels good. Could be good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on. Heat is top 3 for me, at least. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm gonna watch, I watch Heat once a year at least.
No,
It's not top 3 for me, but it's good. Sorry to interrupt.
It's not a top 20 for me, and I need to.
Not a top 20.
Yeah, I don't frequent it as much as I should probably.
Wow. Not a top 20.
No, watched it once during pandemic. Before that, it could have been like 6 years.
I probably told you to watch it too. I was like, oh, you gotta
I
watch
think you
Heat.
did. I'm surprised
Yeah.
that you're so like.
I'm fucked up though. Like, a movie in my top does not mean it's some great movie that everyone should see. I rewatch old shit all the time. Like, I'm much more. I have things that I want to watch, new things that come out that I want to watch that I don't even watch because I'm so busy rewatching It's Always Sunny and The Office and Simpsons ad nauseum.
I think what's valuable to the audience, especially for you two guys and for them to get to know you, is if we all took some homework for the next one and made maybe our top 10 movies.
Oh,
Top
that's
10
tough.
movies can really, it is very tough.
That's a
Yeah,
tough. That's a tough
it's-
list. I've tried many times. It's hard to
Bro,
crack
I'm
that
a Star
one.
Wars and a Marvel
5?
fan. You know how you like, it's like sad that I would even say that when talking about my top 10.
You're a Star Wars and a Marvel fan, so
Well,
that's
I wanna-
unfortunate for you because none of the movies are good.
Well, no, I want to change the rules of this. I feel like one of my favorite movies is the entire Marvel universe.
I'll allow
Oh,
it.
No,
Okay.
I won't.
Well, because I like to also be like
That's
Star
too
Wars.
easy. That's
No,
too
because
easy.
it's
But I
like
do
you
it
could
with
wave
games,
it off.
though.
It's like you don't have to pick one. You could just be like, look, the Marvel BS. That's like one. That's like a block. Like
That's like allowing hundreds of things into one.
Well, no,
answer.
but would you choose it
That's
then? If it's
putting-
in your top 10, are you saying that the Marvel is in your top
I
10?
want you to go
I don't
and
even
do the
know if
work.
it's in mine. I don't know if
Marvel
it's in
is
mine.
do
not
the
in my
work.
top
Do the
10.
work and go and pick the right Marvel movie. It's top 10. It's top 10. You can't just take it all and be like, I'm just throwing Marvel.
What do you
here
think
as
is the
number-
right Marvel movie, though? Even
That's
first
not me.
Iron
That's
Man.
you, bro. That's you. That's you making that.
you know
decision, not
what?
me.
We could even do this where we just really specifically make this about Marvel. We just like
Yeah.
organize your favorite Star Wars movies and then say your favorite Marvel movies.
for
It's
me,
a far,
it's the
it's a
origin
far
stories.
sadder, less cultured way of
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it this way: 10 movies, your favorite movies. We'll do that as homework for the next episode. Because I feel like I could tell a lot about that.
What?
Imagine if you
someone
went to
top
someone,
10?
if you were like, "Hey, what's your favorite movie of all time?" and they were like, "Iron Man 3."
Yeah, there's a lot.
You're like, what? Tell me what happened to you.
I can even drop another. I can even drop
Rise
another
of
one
the
from my list.
Decepticons.
I got another one of my top 10 ready to go right now.
What?
Yeah, this is
Dazed
top
and
10.
Confused.
That's in your top 10.
Yeah, I bounced back
So
on
you've
that
already
often.
thought about this before. You've already decided that that's in your top 10.
No, I said I tried many times and I had a really hard time. But if I'm thinking back on movies that I've just enjoyed many times,
You're putting that in your top 10 right now?
I would say yes.
No, I said next. Like, you're not just putting that in your top 10. You don't know
I
that.
just did.
Spoiler
no way you
alert.
just did that. If you spoke about it or thought about it for another hour, it might be out of your top 10
No,
and out of your top 20.
you don't have one movie. You don't have two movies that come to your mind like this is guaranteed top 10. I don't have to
Oh,
flesh
yeah.
this idea
Terminator
out at all.
2 is my number one. I know that.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Give me another one.
Well, then you want to know what's like a really trippy one where like I'm like, this is why I can't even do this right now.
Okay.
It's because I sit there and I'm like, do I put Avatar in here?
Oh.
And that means a lot to me in my brain. I'm like, does Avatar go there? Love that movie. Seen it so many times. Great movie. But it's Avatar. It's going to go in my top 10. Shawshank Redemption will go in my top 10. I know it'll be there. Where it'll be, I don't know. But I know Shawshank is in there.
Because for me, the top 10 are honestly a tie. Like if I'm talking my top 10 movies, they're not in order.
Yeah.
They're kind of tied for just...
Oh, we're doing that. That's mad easy. That's way easier.
You know what I mean? Because I don't really care. I'm like, oh, bro, you put this at 1 and this at 3. I don't really give a shit. I just want to know the 10 that you like. It's like a desert island thing.
But see, you're taking all the drama out of it because
Yeah,
people want to be really mad at you about the fact that you put this one number 1 and not like instead of number 3 or
You
number
even
5.
got a group in
We can
threes
rank.
at least. You could be like my top 3 in no particular order.
But
Like,
I know
I'll
what you
give
mean
that.
because it's hard to distinguish like what is my
It's
favorite.
hard, and it depends on the
versus
day.
other one.
It's like one of my favorite movies. Like it's funny because I haven't even seen it that much, so it's just I have this memory of it being one of my favorite movies. I need to fucking. I should have been researching this as I.
What is it, bitch?
Yeah, come on.
It's
Three Ninjas?
No, it's called Pi.
Wow.
It's,
Oh my
we
god,
know,
that's a
we
wild movie. You just brought out Pie?
Yeah,
I saw
we
that in
know.
theaters. That's a wild ass movie
From
to be busted out.
'98. You remember
Yeah.
Pi?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah,
too.
that numerology
Black and
movie?
white. Black
Yeah,
and
black
white.
and white. I thought it's some
Dude,
grimy
that
ass
is in my
theater.
top 10 Hundy Purse. That's in my top 10.
Wow.
You
Well,
have not
you know,
seen that in a long time.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
that's a tough
it was
rewatch. I would
super
say.
It is a
cerebral.
it is a very tough rewatch.
But some of the best movies are a tough rewatch. Like The Game with Michael Douglas is not a movie you could rewatch a bunch. But what an
I could
epic
watch that a
movie.
few times.
For sure, but you know, like the whole
The
enjoyment of the movie
the
is
question
not knowing.
is,
You
the
know
like
what
question is
Memento.
movies that
Memento.
might. Yeah, Memento's a classic, but it's not in my top 10.
No.
Movies.
No, but I'm
that-
not saying top 10. I'm saying movies that you don't get as much when you rewatch them. Because it's about not know. It's like Kaiser Sose. Like you
Oh,
need
I
to not
understand.
know.
Oh,
to
like
get
you
the
mean
experience.
it's just like
It's the hook. It's
Yeah.
the yeah.
There's
Yeah,
also
but
some
you have
movies
to
that
watch
have
it with someone.
there's an experience from a movie. Like I have a specific experience in my life that was just one of the best calls I've ever made. And it was going to a movie with your brother, in fact, Harley. And we went and saw Old Boy in theaters. And because I saw a random ad somewhere, like this is way back when it came out in the, I think, early 2000s.
Original
or-
Old Boy, by the way.
Original Old Boy, not the remake. And we just went and at the Montreal Forum, you know, they always play some kind of random ass movies there. And there's nothing better, and I don't have this experience anymore when you just show up to a movie, minimal information. I just saw a random trailer or read some article somewhere, and it was a 10 on 10 experience.
Yeah, it's
I
often the
got in
best
there.
way to see a movie when you don't have much expectations.
Well, it's all been ruined now because I don't like seeing information about a show or a movie ever before I watch it. It ruins it for me. When I get it, someone can have one take, and I'm like, oh, it adds a barrier for me to get to the movie or to the show or whatever it may be because someone said something that might be incorrect. It might not fit my sensibility, but
Yeah, but it primes you to think a certain way. I agree. I don't like reviews and I don't like trailers.
I like
wanna
reviews.
know-
I don't
I
listen
want
to
a
them, though.
concept.
you'll read it. It doesn't impact the way you approach
almost-
a movie.
I don't read a review before a movie.
Okay, that's what I'm
In
saying.
fact,
Me too.
after
I'll read
a movie,
after.
I very much enjoy watching reviews or
Yes.
stuff and being like, wow, I did not take it that way or think that. And I think because of YouTube, because I never read movie reviews, I never consumed it by reading it. I really watched them. And since because of YouTube, like I just learned to not like reviews, because I would watch a movie and then see a review and be like, oh no, it's not how I saw it. The first movie I ever saw, not knowing what it was, also probably in my top 10, perhaps, is The Rock. I went to go see The Rock,
classic.
not knowing what it was about, had no idea. And
who were you with?
Matt.
Wow.
Cousin.
Oh, cousin.
Cousin Matt.
Cousin Matt.
If I could sneak a Star Wars in, as someone like who was always a Star Wars fan and read Star Wars books and was like, I'm not super hardcore, but like I'm more than just the average movie watcher. I slept on Rogue One and I kind of ignored it. And I was like, I don't really want this to exist. I didn't really want anything outside the trilogies going on. And I let it go by until I woke up on a day off I had. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to like the first showing of Rogue One on a Friday matinee at 10 a.m. And I went into an empty theater and possibly the best Star Wars movie ever. What the
That
fuck?
setup though is also so blessed. You like blazed probably a little pinner, walked in the theater, sat down. You get like a fucking movie that costs like 9 figures, and like you just get to chill and take it all in. And you're like, you know what? Star Wars is sick, man.
Plus,
they had some of the best characters in that movie that have ever been in Star Wars.
And you have like in psychology of the peak end rule, so you tend to remember the best part of an experience and the last part of the experience. And that movie, and like it's a great movie, and then it ends so well with fucking Vader in the hallway.
Yeah,
and I just like that ending, and I was like, that's it. I don't know if they've done better. I don't know if they've done better before.
Because you never got Vader like that before. I loved Rogue One, enjoyed it, bought it, and then I sat down to watch it, started watching it, and I was like, wait. And then I fast forwarded to like 7 parts in the movie. And I was like, that's what I like. On a rewatch, I don't rewatch Rogue One. I rewatch parts. And I love the characters in it, but that entire movie is not an easy one for me to get through. And you know what's interesting about that is like it's like Andor, not content I cared for or wanted, but this is what's special about these Star Wars movies is it's the time that is the most important character in those movies, because that era of Star Wars is the premium era that like can do no wrong. Just that era in time with those stormtroopers and that vibe, and that's how it is. And you were kind of downplaying yourself as a Star Wars fan, Donnie, because I think once you read a Star Wars novel, you are way beyond like you're like now in like the top 3% of all 1% of all people that have consumed Star Wars media.
I read like the
Thrawn.
I read the Thrawn trilogy. I read the Bane trilogy, which was fucking awesome. I read the Dark Lord trilogy.
We're getting Thrawn in the shows.
I read Darth Plagueis.
You don't watch Mandalorian though, right?
I watch Mandalorian. I do. I watched Mandalorian. I watched Obi-Wan. I haven't watched Andor yet.
Same. I watched 20 minutes of it, and I was like, something happened that was like I thought was particularly hardcore, and I was like, oh, this is great. I'm gonna pay more attention to this because I was kind of just gonna let it play while I did something else, and then I was like, wait, I'll pay attention. I like what they're doing here.
Yeah, got to come back and focus.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Lynch, I got a question. If you recommend a book to someone, you're like, you got to read this book, and they get back to you and they're like, oh yeah, great book. And you're like, oh, you read it? And they were like, yeah, well, audiobook. Would you think differently of that encounter? That they didn't quite read the book, they listened? As Donnie would say, they had their daddy read the story to them.
No, I wouldn't care, but I would know myself that it's not the same experience. I wouldn't care. They still like got the content, but
what do you mean it's not the same experience?
It's not the same experience as like sitting down and reading a book. That's for sure.
But
it's okay with me. I don't care. That's if that's the way you consume your content, go ahead.
But what's the difference though? What if they sat down and they held a piece of paper?
I think that you retain a lot more. No, a book requires your attention. You have to be on the page, seeing what's going on. An audiobook
requires attention big time.
No, but it's
it's
different.
Not required for every second, unless you're gonna do the audiobook Clockwork Orange style, strapped down in a chair with your fucking with that shit crammed right into your brain.
You're saying
you can't open your phone. You can't open your phone and look at the internet while you're reading your book.
That's literally impossible. You cannot consume an audiobook with your phone open reading Twitter. That's impossible.
You can have the
as a person who has consumed audiobooks and who
likes
to go on Twitter. The second I open up or do something else, I will have to go back.
There's no background play?
No. The second I do anything, my brain does not compute.
Lynch
so when I physically. if I even get a text and I open it for a second, I will go back to the audiobook and I will rewind 15 seconds, which reminds me exactly of a book. When I'm reading a book, and sometimes I read 3 paragraphs and I'm like, oh shit, I was doing the action but not consuming, and I will go back to the beginning.
Okay,
I
but
do that on an audiobook and a book. I actually think they're almost identical.
I don't think so. There's first of all, there's got to be.
It used to be a joke.
I didn't prep for this. First of all, when you read something, your comprehension of what's going on and your following of what, like the details you absorb through reading will be more than if you listen. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I just believe this. Okay?
Yeah,
this is something I believe.
That definitely seems true enough.
I believed the opposite of that. Sorry, I believe that comprehension, in my experience, when I was listening to an audiobook,
you're just fucking around.
No,
you're being serious?
Yeah, I did. I thought that through my experience of listening to audiobooks, I was using a particular amount of comprehension brain power was required. And I didn't think it that far off from the book, reading the book. And I experienced this by doing what you're saying. Like I did try and multitask, or I did try and do something else. And anything short of just driving is the only activity I could do. I can only listen to the book. There can be no other noise, or there can't even be someone like cooking next to me. I can only drive, and I thought it required a lot of comprehension. And in fact, Donnie's a lot like you as a big book guy. Donnie's murked me many times for reading audiobooks, and I went and I looked it up, and it's not an actual decision, but like apparently the comprehension required is similar, and depending on the audiobook's narrator, like it might, if it's like depending on the acting of it, there's like an emotional level that could be magnified in an audiobook that can't be done with reading, whereas reading has like the motor skills of your eyeballs also involved, which is not something you can get from an audiobook.
There's also something you're not considering, though. There's some knock-on effects here from reading that you're not maybe considering. When you're reading, you're also looking at lots of words and probably improving your vocabulary. I'm just making this shit up, but
no, you're right. You're right.
I believe spelling, this. You're reading a book,
and your spelling must get better.
Your spelling, your comprehension, like all that stuff improves when you're reading. I don't care. You can listen to an audiobook. If you do whatever you want, that's your life. I just think there is a quality about reading that's different than listening to it, but I don't hate on people who listen to books. That's your choice.
I kind of like the way I look at it nowadays is that, first of all, let's just like all acknowledge that it used to be a joke. It used to be a joke where like they would do this in sitcoms. They did this in Seinfeld, where it was like, oh, you have some sort of assignment where you need to read a book. We'll do the easy thing. Watch the movie. And everyone's like, haha, yeah, that's like a cheat. And now because like Jeff Bezos convinced us all that Audible's a fucking thing we should have installed on our phones.
Wrong and right. Wrong and right though. But you're right. Like you're right that like Jeff Bezos, like whenever I look up, even when I looked up the research for this, I was like, yeah, big audiobook is out there doing research. So you're right about the Jeff Bezos thing, but you're wrong that it's not comparable to the movie. The audiobook is word for word exactly the book.
Okay.
So it's not that's not a fair comparison, but you're right. We definitely, big audiobook is 100% out there because it's like who's doing the research
and convincing people that the other thing I think is that I think audiobook fiction is pretty cool, and I think that's maybe like in some ways could be a more enjoyable experience, even like if you're
why wouldn't you want like Jack Nicholson to read you his autobiography?
Okay, so autobiography, fiction, things like this. But I read a lot of books that are like technical shit, like a lot of evolutionary biology, a lot of neuroscience, a lot of psychology. And I think that I take it in more when I'm reading it. And another thing is to like, not that you need to memorize it verbatim, but to actually take in the information. I think that I memorize it better when I do the physical act of reading it. And if I could reference a book, Moonwalking with Einstein, where the author, Josh Foer, I think his name is, joins like a memory competition. There's like a international competition between people that memorize things. And the technique they use is called Memory Palace, where you take a house and a house that you know well in your mind, and you store things in different places in that house to help you remember it. So, you walk in and, oh, by the door, I have my dog. My dog's name is that. And like, you just memorize things that are based on where they are in the house. And I think I memorize things based on where they are in the book and how the book is written, the chapters and stuff. And if I want to reference back to something, I just feel like back referencing an audiobook is not the same experience of me flipping to this page and this chapter and being like, yeah, there's that fact I was trying to remember. It's that this happened at this date.
That's why I think I'm good at I'm bad at like word jumble, but I'm good at like a Jeopardy style trivia, not like Jeopardy trivia style game, because I just remember things. I remember, I can like see it in my mind's eye a little bit, like where I read a piece of information or saw a piece of information. It's usually from something I've been reading, not listening to. But the one thing I think you're missing here, and I think it's fine, do whatever you want, but there is something about consuming a book, like the like format of a book, that is like different than watching a movie or watching something on TV or listening to something. It's fun to enjoy all aspects of like entertainment, and a book has its own quality about it. When you get into a book, like, it can be very difficult. I can understand why there's like a barrier to it, right? It's a lot harder to sit down, but I'm going to read this book right now. But sometimes like the level, like the amount you can get lost in a book, to me, and immersed in it, it is a higher level for me versus watching TV and movie. And I watch a ton of TV and movies. Like
different. The audiobook is different from TV. It is.
I agree. For sure. But you don't think okay, listen, we're going to.
However, I believe I understand what you're saying. And I agree. Like, and I think the thing about the book, that the hardest part to push that the audiobook has to someone like me, even where like I'm on both. I know you guys are book boys. That's why I brought it up. Mm-hmm. Realistically, the most important thing of the book to me is the book. Holding the book, having the book, being a man reading a book is something that's just been with us for hundreds of years.
We like the aesthetic. The aesthetic of the book.
We are the people of the book.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So I understand that. And that's just that intangible thing that like really like it's hard to quantify, but I'm with you on that thing, which is the most important thing, where it's like, it's a book. And you can't fuck with that. You're going to have your iPod playing the fucking book? This is a book. It's paper, bro. This shit was written years ago. So I understand that.
I'm not using an e-reader, but okay.
But,
I have books
audio,
too.
I got to say, for comics, I've moved to, I buy and consume all comics. I used to wait and buy these trades where it was like a collection of comics. Now I buy them on my iPad, and I love consuming it on the iPad. But like my favorite thing was I got the audiobook for Dune and Dune. Yeah. Because I heard it was a difficult read.
Both, and by the way, both is something I could fuck with. Yeah, both is something I could fuck with.
Yeah, listening and reading at the same time was really good. And I also saw the movie before I read the book. So this was like, I came in like being like, the movie was fucking confusing. I didn't gather everything happening, and I want to read the book and I want to know more. And I did do both. And I thought that went a long way for me, because you're kind of learning. And are you the type of person who learns from listening or from reading or from even just getting up and doing? But funny, in this case, what's better for you?
You bring up learning, and that's something that I'm constantly reminding myself, because I forget this as what you say, like a book boy. I forget sometimes that you can learn something from a book. Like, I'll go look for videos on YouTube. I'll try, like, say I'm trying to learn some skill, like someone like golf. Let's say I golf a lot, right? I like to golf. And I spend a lot of time. You get lessons. You go online. There's a million golf channels out there.
Donnie does
right?
this.
Right. And then all of a sudden I'll remember, I'm like, oh yeah. Like there's probably a book written about this thing that's super detailed that I can go look at and read that will provide me with information. I don't have to necessarily like, I can go watch videos, but there's also a book that exists. And that's exactly what happened to me. I read,
I wish I did that.
I read Ben Hogan's handbook, 100 pages, nothing. I've bought this for a few people who are trying to learn how to play golf because golf is extremely difficult. As you can tell, I want to talk about golf. And it actually worked. What I came to realize that all the videos I watch is essentially like a derivative of what he's talking about in his handbook. And I tell people this, and they have the most blank look on their fucking face. Like, I'm like, oh, you should read this. It's like worth it. It has, and
like,
there's this barrier to
golf,
entry that exists for them. The barrier to entry to idea that like I have to read a book to understand something, and not like school. It's just like a book. It's like a little.
But Donnie, you do the same. You've bought books on canoeing and such.
I was going to bring up. I remember we were in a group chat with a friend of ours, and I sent you guys a picture of this book that I was reading because I was about to go on a big trip, and I was just boning up on some different paddling techniques in this book, and they were both like,
is that book
"You're
boy
such
talk?
a fucking weirdo." Yeah, I was reading some canoe strokes in a book, but
you getting all boned up on new stroke techniques. Is that what you're telling me?
Boned up on my stroke game.
Guys getting all boned up on some new stroke
But
shit.
one thing you were saying about holding a book, which is also huge to me, holding the book, having the book. I have a room full of fucking books. It's very inconvenient.
Wow,
Very
smart
bad for moving.
guys. Very smart. Very smart.
But one
guys.
thing that I have to mention is the fucking smell. Like sometimes a book has a smell and I'm like, this is part of why like I wouldn't part with the experience of a paper book, and part of it's the fucking smell. I'm not even joking. Like the e-reader.
But have you pared down? I have an e-reader because what's happened is that I've moved many times in my life, and bringing books is one of the most irritating and annoying things to do because I had to give a lot away. I like just gave them away because I'm like,
Giving books away is chill though. It's chill move.
It is chill, but there's certain books that I believe are important to have, like are important to me to have. Like there's like, you know, a collection of books that I've kept and brought with me everywhere I go, and it's weird. I don't even like really go back to them that often.
No, but
I like knowing that they're there. I like that they're
Yeah.
tucked away somewhere. I can look at them. I can pull them out. Right.
Yeah.
But have you pared down? Because I have a lot of stuff I had to get rid of. Like recently, I was going through. I'm like, this is like hundreds of pounds worth of paper.
Yeah,
I just don't need.
It's rough. To be honest, have I pared down? Fuck no. I buy books like I often buy like many books at the same time, which is kind of crazy because I have a backlog that at this point is probably close to like 300, and then I'll like walk
300. I love that graphic novel.
I have that graphic novel with my books.
Well, you were a man that was alive in 2006, so of course you
exactly. I have 300. I have V for Vendetta, and I have The Watchmen, the three classic male graphic novels. But yeah, I've actually started, like, I haven't moved in a long time, and my reading's only increased since I've moved into the place I'm in now. So I have a backlog forming that is, I'm going to have to just die in this house because I don't have, I won't be able to afford the amount of movers I'll need to get the books out of this fucking room.
The one book that I've really carried with me from place to place actually came from a YouTuber, from Humble the Poet. He gave me a copy of his book, Things No One Else Can Teach Us. But what was so special about this book is that, I mean, he wrote it, it's his book. And throughout the entire book, he gave me one copy, which was the book, but he gave me another copy. And this is the one I bring everywhere with me. It has Post-it notes throughout the entire book where he has handwritten notes about certain parts. So it's like a book with built-in director commentary.
Yeah, director commentary
on the book, and it has
like
all the
footnotes,
and it's
footnotes everywhere.
It's like like literal Post-its and like things circled in the book and highlighted, and it's just very sick. And it is like a great book. It's like when you could open up to the middle anywhere, and it's just going to be relevant. It'll just be a relevant thing. Guys, if you're enjoying this podcast, by the way, make sure you rate it, review it, subscribe, share with your friends. This helps with discovery, and it helps the podcast continue to exist. And I like doing it. Also, leave us comments in the Epic Mealtime subreddit or in the comments on YouTube. We do read all of those. This episode is brought to you by our merch. Have you seen the Epic Mealtime merch? Head over to epicmealtime.com. We got some badass new styles over there. I think you'll look pretty fuckable.